Hey, welcome to another virtual water cooler live. My name's Steve Wright. It's my 4:30 UK, 10:30, I guess Central Time morning slot here. Dropping in for a quick chat around the water cooler. Um, Bit harassed this morning because for some reason Restream was giving me a hard time getting in, but I managed to find a way through incognito mode. Something's going on with my browser. Anyway, you don't need the technical stuff. But yes, this is a little spot in my space. I go live on LinkedIn and Facebook, Facebook group, the managers who lead, and also stick it out somewhere in YouTube land as well. So um, it is ad hoc. I invite people from my space to just, if they've got time, to jump on. We have a chat. Some regulars come in, some new people coming in. You're all welcome. If this is sort of punched into your feed somewhere that says Steve Wright has gone live, just gone live, then this is what it is. Nothing's off topic really, but I did a couple of things that was on my mind just this week in terms of the World Cup. Can England bring it home? That's the question. That's the question. I think this is their final. I think beating Argentina is going to be their game. So Spain are tough though. So Spain are done well to get where they are. They are a tough team to score against, and they have some firepower up front. So it'll be interesting. I'm actually glad that the World Cup is coming to an end. It felt like forever. It's a long tournament. My goodness, especially with 48 countries. So and that's good. Small countries, but it's a long session. And speaking of countries that are in the World Cup, that are no longer in the World Cup, I've got my friend from Japan, who is Mr.
Coach, right?
How are you doing?
You're out here trying to coach the World Cup.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Oh, gotta make
Gotta make the adjustments. Yeah.
the micro adjustments. No, I'm just saying that it's. I'm glad we got to the knockout stages. Knockout stages are pretty quick, which is nice. The group stages were just long, lots of groups, and I said it's 48 countries. It's more than I think it's more than it's ever been, and. So yeah, we're getting down to the wire.
You're speaking a foreign language to me, and it's not Jamaican. I have no idea what you're talking about. But is Jamaica in the World Cup?
No, we didn't qualify.
Oh.
which got kicked out. I think
Because
Curacao.
you weren't yet moved into the country for tryouts. But now that you're there,
I
you're
wouldn't try out.
You're coaching. You're gonna make Jamaica great again.
Oh, stop! There you go, Maja.
No, actually, I heard you whisper to me as a political campaign, Jamaican it great again.
Jamaican it.
Jamaican it great.
There you go. That would probably work better than making Jamaica great again. But still, how are you? I saw your post with a in-person interview.
Oh,
Met somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say the 10K because that was
no, yeah, I saw your post about the 10K too.
And today I got the times. They sent the lap times and the placements. And here's the sad part. Good. It's a glass half full and empty. I was 9th male in their 20s and 15th place overall with the wrong times. The time I recorded for my last lap and their last recorded lap for me, greater than 2 minutes difference in speed. And so even for the sake of argument, if we were to take those 2 minutes off of the last lap, that would have moved me into the top 10 alone. Not to mention, if I knew how many laps I was running, I would have evened out my pacing. Looking at the times, you'd be like, what was this guy doing? Well, I was confused. It started to, I did not expect it to be a lap. We had this whole park. I mean, easily could have been a 10K.
Mr. The Whiskey. Mr. Lewinsky, as in the words of Shakespeare, I think the man doth protest too much. It's okay. It's okay. it's okay.
Well, this is
Truly,
all true.
truly.
I made a whole video about it, about how it's okay.
Good.
But it is disappointing because this was my first ever 10K. So this time was going to be the.
Is it your last?
This was going to be the goal setting, right? This was the goal setter because it was my first 10K.
So, Mr.
Anyway, I
Lewinsky.
didn't get any awards. You know, I mean,
participation medal.
No, they didn't do that. You know, it was only if you were. Well, you know what? I didn't even stay around long enough to find out, because this is ridiculous. I mean, I got me sprinting through the finish line, and they're like, how to say, you already finished, 12 minutes ago. What? Yeah. Well, I'm just doing this one for charity. Okay, is it illegal for a man to run an extra lap, an extra 2.5 kilometers for fun?
Is this a Gen Z thing? Does it in the scheme of things? And you're a wise man. You're wise beyond your years. So it's interesting. It's interesting to hear the stories around this. Kudos to you. If I had my hat on, I would take it off. I would put a hat on.
Yeah, mise en place right there. He's got it ready.
And then I'll take it off for you running the 10K. It's your first 10K, right?
Right. And that's why it was especially important that it went well. It went well, but it didn't go as planned.
Well, you wouldn't apply that mindset to your first podcast. You wouldn't apply that mindset to your first interview. So take it for what it is.
A very avoidable mishap.
Okay. It's a right kind of wrong. It's an avoidable. Is it complex? Is it a complex problem or a simple problem? It could be simple in the sense that if you knew how many times round to go, you would have gone round the specific time, the specific laps. So in that sense, it's simple.
Competitive about. This is the one thing that I'm really.
Okay.
Okay. Here's what happened. I was.
No. Back up.
No, I'm talking about high school. I'm about to tell you about high school.
Oh, you're taking us back to why why your competitiveness kicks in. Go on.
I was the first in my grade to get a varsity jacket. I got it like within a few days of high school because I was running against seniors at varsity level as a freshman. I enjoyed it. I used to train. I would run with a parachute on, right? That's what I got into, because here's what happened. My parents said, you got to do a sport, son. And I said, all right, I'd like to do hockey. They said, absolutely not. Too dangerous, too expensive. Drove me to the houses of people who had children in hockey to convince me not to do it. Then they signed me up behind my back for lacrosse, which is also expensive and dangerous. But, I missed the deadline by like 4 days or something. So then they said, son, you got to play a sport. You got to play an instrument. So I said, well, I'd like to play guitar. It's very versatile, whether it's country, gospel, romance. You can play pretty much anything. It's portable. No, son, too common. Too many people play guitar. Pick something else. I said, well, piano, classic gentleman, blah, blah, blah. Too common, son. So I ended up playing the violin. Well, I did get into sports through cross country. I don't know. I guess my parents just signed me up for this summer program. Found out that I loved running, was great at it. Got a varsity jacket, first person in my grade right away. I mean, we got that thing rush ordered, and everyone basically, I can't swear on this. Everyone called me, what would you call it? Gay slurs or not a real man. They demasculized me because running's not a real sport. All you do is run. It's not real athleticism. It doesn't take, anyone can do it. And so all these redneck wannabes, because I grew up in such a redneck wannabe part of New Jersey. Ugh. Anyway, I was great until coach pushed us too far. And me in particular, I got severe shin splints and microfractures even. And, they just didn't care. Race after race after race, training. I ended up leaving cross country to heal. And I came back, and randomly one day in the military, I signed up for a 5K. with like no training. I had maybe jogged here and there. I was trying to heal. And this is years later. Ran with almost 3 minutes off of my time. The progressions had slowed down because they weren't allowing time for healing. And then because I allowed that healing to come to fruition, I went back in, crushed it. In fact, that race, I would have done probably 4 minutes off my time, but it was like the day before Thanksgiving, was one of those turkey trots, and it was like 33 degrees in Charleston. And my run time wasn't because my legs stopped moving. My arms were so stiff and frozen. My whole body was just like freezing up. I mean, it was so cold. I'd rather run in 100-degree weather. I ran today. It's hot out. Still sweating from it. Well, then I started competing again every now and then. And so I'm not too competitive about it. In fact, well, I am. And that's why one of the biggest romantic gestures I did was I convinced my fiance to sign up for a 5K. She's never ran before, never trained. And she showed up and she did it. And I had to go at her pace to support and encourage her because she was willing to do that for me. And when we started the race and I saw the lead people go out, you don't know, I got tremble. You want to, because I spent years chasing after them, right? Or surpassing them. And we'll get into some lessons because you're going to really like something I'm going to say here that my coach shared with me. But that was the first time I ran just for fun, just to do a couples thing with my fiance. Now, next time I told her I can't do that. I mean, it was way too slow for me. So I'm going to get the weighted vest and the dog and stroller and go alongside her just to even it out a bit. But she's going to be getting faster and faster. Now, we talked about something called like negative splits, which is each time you pass someone in cross country, your goal is just to pass someone, because each time you pass them, there's a psychology and an energy here. They slow down and you speed up, right? Unless they have that competitive edge, then it might be fuel to surpass them. But most of the time, especially if you're not doing as well and you're in the back, you pass them and they're going to start slowing down because they're feeling crushed. And you're feeling better because you just passed someone. But there's another term, jackrabbit. Certain cross-country teams would have a sacrificial competitor who would sprint out, make it look like he was going to be, running 4-minute miles. So all these people would chase after him, and then he just stopped. He was literally just a palm, And it's hard not to chase the jackrabbit because we forget that we're racing against the clock more than anything. And in a race, especially where like the 10K I did, where you've got a 5K, a 10K, a 30K all at once in the same loop.
Different pacing.
You can't even track someone. But the most eerie moment of my life was I didn't start out in first place, but I got to the beginning. And as I was running, there's all this, it's like a stampede of horse hooves when you've got all these people running cross country, especially on the terrain we were on. When I got to the front, it just like instantly went dead silent. Everything was behind me. And it felt like surreal. And if it's not an easy to find course, I hate being in first place, honestly, because I'm like, where are we going? In fact, they had a missed loop on one of the races I ran. Actually, if you want to hear a tantrum I threw, there was 2 times. One time I was first place and some teammates of mine were at the finish line. And instead of telling me there's someone catching up to you and they're right on your 0.01 second, they pushed me to second place through the finish line. And no one gave me a warning. My whole team's watching. No one said, behind you, or you got to go, right? I mean, 0.01 second, and I went to throw that silver medal out the bus window. I was so mad. 0.01 second. 0.01. And then a different time, they didn't have everything marked off right. And me and the top leads went down the wrong path and had to loop back. And I think I still got gold, or I got moved down to silver, and it's fine. Some people have never won a medal in their life. I know I'm talking about first world problems here. But again, have the course clearly marked off. No room for error, please.
Right. In
this race, they had a guy on a bicycle leading the whole. So you weren't left on your own. They had a person clearly guiding you.
Right. So I get it. I totally get it. And it's it is it's a frustration. I guess my sort of coach hat comes on, and I'm like, what's the lesson? What's the lessons that people listening to this conversation could get from this? I mean, what they find out about you is that you are you're a runner, and two, you are. That's a space in which you're competitive. You gave us a bit of a backstory in terms of the history of that, because there were family dynamics or dynamics growing up that wanted you to excel. You know, there was an expectation for you to do something extraordinary in a field that you were going to go into. It happened to be cross country, and that's great. First, your first 10K, you ran a 10K for a different reason. You ran a 5K for a different reason other than to compete. You ran it to support, which again is powerful.
And this was about doing it in another country. This was also not just about winning, but this was saying, I'm in another country and I'm gonna do as many things as I can that are not your typical tourist or vacation things. Like, we're still on the grind. The thing is, this is something that I put a lot of, like, I've been running for an hour and a half to 2 hours straight every other day in preparation for this. And I've ran faster times than what performed because of the missed lap, the extra lap. And it's really frustrating to know that we ran that perfectly for weeks and now on performance day. I mean, think about if someone messes up in the Olympics, they just spent 4 years doing better times and stuff. So it's just, it's about the alignment of things,
Yeah. But the cadence, I mean, I get it, especially Olympians, because their window of peaking performance is so short compared to the times.
I can always find another 10K, so I'm not in the same boat.
Yes, yeah, and there are some. I've mentioned this book before, The Right Kind of Wrong. I think it's Amy Edmondson, The Right Kind of Wrong, and she points out, the value of experimentation is to understand the result, not necessarily to get the result you want. That's a good thing. You plan a trip and the trip happens. That's great. You set something out and you achieved it. But if you set something out and don't achieve it, there's a lesson to be learned in setting it out. What kind of failure came along the way? Whether it's simple, you got up at the wrong time.
I sent an email to the organizers about that. Trust me, they learned a lesson. They learned a lesson. ChatGPT was translating it for me and says, I think we should make your tone a little less harsh or a little more professional. And I said, I'm asking you to translate, not to coach. No, but
keep the tone.
What made it most frustrating is this was my last 10K during my time here. And so the goal was really to show up, do the 10K, to do it, in a right manner. But I'll give everyone some good news. Good news.
Please.
That's unrunning related. I had applied to be a comedy feature at this place. I won't name drop them, even though I want to. But they kind of gave me the runaround in the emails. And it seemed to be a little bit of racism going on too, to be honest. But, I can only email them so many times, and they keep saying, yeah, we'll get back to you, or this or that, or, oh, we really want to highlight Japanese local talent, even though our social media shows that we've only been highlighting Americans for the past 2 months that you've been following our social media. Anyway, the Lord opens bigger doors when he closes other ones.
There you go.
I don't have the poster made yet. This is a reference one. I'm now having my own private comedy show at a venue because the bar owner, I just asked her casually, I said, can I have a private comedy show here? The Cowboy Samurai Comedy Live, Southern hospitality meets Japanese politeness. And she was like, well, I was supposed to have an art exhibition and an English speaking event, but the person doing it broke their legs and had to cancel. So now
Got the spot.
Like a 1 hour private comedy special, but I don't want to do an hour, so I'm going to try to find some comedians to do a 5-minute opener, 10-minute opener, and then Mr. Whiskey time. But this is actually the biggest comedy opportunity I've had. I'm going to sign posters. I'm going to be dressed in a way that
that supports.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, kudos.
I may not wear pants
to you.
Underneath my happy coat. I may just have underwear that I will flash at some point for some kind of comedic reference. Whether it's the Godzilla underwear or the Hello Kitty underwear, whatever, we'll
not the Predator socks. Not the Predator socks, right?
It's not. I forgot about that. That's a good recall. Yeah. Yeah.
We can leave those off. Well,
maybe I'll get underwear with a zipper in the front, and it says, "Put your tips here," or something like that. I don't want it to say that on the back. Trust me.
Okay. Well, yeah. You won't. It'll be like that. It'll be like that race again. No one will tell you that someone's behind you.
They're 0.01 seconds behind you. Move.
Yes, right. You gotta move. You got 0.01 seconds to shift it. But kudos to you, Mr. Whiskey. I mean, when we first connected, you weren't doing comedy at all, and then I've seen that desire in you to pursue it. And it is tough. I mean, and I'm guessing that comes from that's your own personal drive and desire to do it. No one's, you're an adult now, and your parents aren't telling you what you should be doing.
They told me not to.
With regards to that. Well, there you go. I'm sure they did.
It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's an expectation. For me, when I first performed, I was on my first solo trip, first time going out of the state by myself, first time at a conference, met more people in a single day than my entire life up to that point. And they just said, there's an open mic, you should do it because you have a unique character, because they were like, you look like you should be up on stage. So, I agreed to it, because I was already overwhelmed with everything. And, I remember the morning of, I'm in the shower and my legs are shaking. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And the great part of it was, we get to the event ahead of time to set up. And I said, please let me be one of the first people to go. I'm having like anxiety attacks over this. I've never had my heart pound that much before. My legs are shaking. Wow. I'm like physically sick. I'm like, I want to enjoy the show too. All the other performers, I can't do that when I'm like anxious. So I said, please have me be one of the first people to go, at like first, second, or third. Yeah. Somehow the guy hears third to last. Okay. So he didn't tell me he heard third to last. So I'm waiting for them to call me. And we went through like 19 people. So I was third to last before the headliner and then the guy running the event. And they said, well, we thought you were going to be one of our strongest comedians. So we anchored you, especially because you kind of requested it. I was like, no. I said first or third, not from the bottom. Why would I would have said that.
Yeah. Third from last.
And I remember the second guy who went up, I think it was, had wrote the script for SNL for 17 years. And I was like, what kind of open mic is this? This is not amateur hour. Wrote the script for SNL for 17 years? What? I said, I was in the shower this morning peeing towards the drain trying to think of a joke. I mean, this is not good. And I missed a drink because I was shaking because I was nervous. But it was, some of my jokes didn't land because they were for a younger generation than the audience definitely was. I had that was the largest audience I ever had, but it was my least experience. And it was before I was on a more righteous path. And so I actually don't have it posted because some of it was crude humor that I wouldn't do nowadays, which I still struggle with sometimes for sure. But I'm excited for this one. I'm going to be making fun of New Jersey. So that's going to be a good time. I think I'm going to have to make fun of the Hello Kitty girls a little bit and I'm going to be talking about not in a bad way, but essentially, I realized something, that Godzilla is just the male version of Hello Kitty, and there's a double standard with it. If every girl in this country has a Hello Kitty charm on her bag, and it's considered
Okay.
kawaii, but if I have a Godzilla figure, somewhere in my collection, I'm a otaku, I'm a nerd, I don't have a girlfriend.
Okay.
It's called a double standard. So you can have Hello Kitty, and I can't have Godzilla. And you want to argue? Godzilla's not cute. He's disproportionate. His legs are too big. His head is too small. Funny, because Hello Kitty has a 50-foot headspan and a 3-foot body span. And I said, you're pretty disproportionate yourself, because you're such a small frame but such a big mouth that won't stop complaining. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna. I'm ready, Steve.
Well,
I'm just nervous about the cultural difference. Performing to an audience with English as a second language.
Yes.
I think I cannot really do play on words, right? Because you have to have a level.
Tough. Yeah.
Right, and I have to be careful with what I reference to America or anything American lifestyle.
Yes.
And a lot of the comedians in Japan, their performances are just like observations on Japan, time in Japan, and I don't want it to just be this, oh, I'm the gaijin in Japan, but it's also that there has to be a bridge of relatability. So I can't just joke about Japanese stuff I'm not familiar with, but I don't want to make it too much. And I'm not going to bash the Japanese culture, which I've seen some white comedians do here, and it was just so miserable to watch. The crowd was just like, his opening line was, Japanese is like the worst language ever to learn. You're never going to use it and get laid with it. And I was just like, sheesh. I'm not Japanese, but I was offended. Like you're gonna go into someone else's country and be like,
yeah. I was gonna.
But I am glad that you volunteered to fly out and open up for me as a guest comedian.
Oh, dude.
Your picture.
Well, maybe
right? If this is me, you could be next to me
somewhere. Yeah, somewhere in the corner. I would.
Right. You could be,
that guy there. That guy there. Oh, me too. It's me. Me too. When are you doing this?
So this is supposed to be on August 8th. Got to make the flyers. This is actually huge. I'm definitely going to record it if I can get a professional photographer out here in Japan. Although the only thing is, it's not on a stage. The venue is a very beautiful bar, but it's very small and darkly lit. So I got to figure out how we're going to arrange it.
So it's intimate. It's an intimate audience.
This is what I always wanted, because I said, open mics are so short, you can't do storytelling. And, I've watched all these comedians on stage do storytelling, recalls, interconnected jokes. But what if it's 45 minutes of no one laughing? I mean, and they're really hyping it up. Like the bar owner is so excited, and all the people who were at the bar with me. So I'm trying to get some of the military guys over here to rally up to get at least have some English speakers in there, and
Okay, so you can riff off
some money to people to laugh loud. Yeah.
Get some stalkers in the crowd.
Or here's everyone gets a free shout on me for each time they laugh.
And they laugh. There you go. But there's a lot in comedy. And like you said, I mean, my first thought was, it's a long set. You got August. You got a few weeks.
Got less than a month to prepare.
If you want to,
it's okay. I make everything up on the spot anyway.
That's the kick. That's the kicker. It's making it look like it's ad hoc when it's actually very well scripted. I think that's the comedic art, whereby your story comes across as like you just having a stream of consciousness chatting, like we are here. Nothing here is scripted, right? You go on about
I'm reading from an AI right now.
This 10K. This 10K. This 10K that this first time 10K that kicked your butt because you ran too long. I mean, I mean, that's not
Right.
even
Dude. Let's
first
start
world
talking about
problem.
my
That's
butt.
just
That's the third time
that's
today.
just that's just, and he didn't even get a participation medal. And then you had to give me the backstory as to almost like Ratatouille. You had to tell me where this angst came from to be the first. I mean, you're not the varsity runner you're not the varsity 10K runner in Japan.
It's about the reason I love running so much. Number one, I hate team sports. I was on a basketball team
Yeah.
for a little bit, and I think we've talked about this. I could be putting in effort every day, extra hours training, and one person
Yeah.
who's there because their parents forced them could be like, I don't want to play, and cost us the game.
Yes.
It's great when you have an interconnected team all working together, but you're also as strongest as your weakest link. Why I love racing and running, your own competition is yourself more than anyone.
Yes.
My running ability is directly reflective of the effort I put in.
Yes.
If there's someone who's faster than me, then that's that. But there wasn't someone who was faster than me because the person I was running with was slow. Well, I don't do relays, so that's why.
Yeah.
And I love it because, yeah, it's I find it peaceful. I know people hate running.
I get it.
I love it.
I get it.
And for me,
yeah.
Some people are running towards the finish line, but I'm running away from what's behind the starting line.
Oh, we could add that. We can flesh out a punchline in there somewhere. I'm not running towards the finish line. I'm running away from the start. I'm running away from the start pistol. Well, there you go. I mean, if it's a
I was the best race I ever ran, Steve. The best race I ever ran. I was bent over at the starting line, ready to start, and I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I heard a deep voice say, "Running alone, are we?" Man, I took off so fast.
I'm with you every step of the way.
No,
so
that
do you
was
have
a
you?
joke I borrowed from in that set that I did. One of the jokes was, my first day on the Navy, I was using a urinal as one does, and I felt a hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Oh, new recruit, not doing this by yourself, are you?" And I was like, "Oh man, should have joined the Marines." Yeah. I can tell you a really funny story along those lines. Actually, this is a real experience that happened to me in Japan.
Is this likely to be part of your? No, what I'm saying is.
I'm not going to share it. I don't know if I'm going to share this or not. I'm thinking about it. I don't know if they'll resonate with it or not. The Japanese audience. I know American audience will. Now, Japan's a very quiet society, right? It's very, you don't talk loud in the streets. You don't talk on the trains, and very quiet everywhere. A lot of the restaurants are in silence, right?
Wow.
And I was at the movie theaters. Oh, by the way, Toy Story 5, one of the best movies I've ever seen. We'll unpack that in a minute because the social commentary on that was phenomenal. I was at the movie theaters, but this was to see the He-Man movie. My dad grew up watching that. So I went and saw it. It was all right. And I got to run to the bathroom. And this was the third time I went before the movie started because we're not getting out there in the movie. So I'm going. And as I'm going in, there's this old guy. He leaves the stall. He goes to wash his hands, and I'm at the urinal. And it was a complete accident, but one slipped out. Whatever you want to call it, a passing of wind slipped out. And it was kind of loud in this quiet society. The water at the thing instantly stopped. And I glanced over. The old man leaned back and turned his head to look at me scoldingly, because I was disturbing the quiet peace. Complete accident. Oh, he could have just kept washing his hand. I've never been so embarrassed, but also in shock. I mean, I'm there trying to use the urinal. One slips out by accident, and he literally, the water shut off instantly, like a horror movie where and he leans back. And it's even funnier because for the elderly in Japan, they have special handles at the urinal and the sink, like a walker, to hold on. So he's holding on and he leans back, and we share Americano. What? It could have been anyone, but we were the only people in there. It had nothing to do with it. Was an accident.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Sometimes you got to release. You have to have that release, right?
We got to give everyone a lesson, Steve. So this is a lesson. I learned this recovery trick, and I forgot to use it. When it rains, it thunders. I could have saved it. I would have had to say it in Japanese.
Yes. Yeah. You got yeah. Don't You can expect thunder with the rain. All right.
Why didn't he just? So Japanese culture is supposed to be mind your business. He turned the water off, leaned back, looked, and then went back to wash his hands a second time.
Okay. He
put
okay.
He put a mask
music?
on.
What sort of tone was the release? Was it kind of a high pitched musical thing, or was it
it was just a brief high pitched accidentally slipped out? It wasn't anything monstrous or gurgling or scary. No shrapnel, nothing.
No shrapnel. By the way, men, get tested, okay? That's my segue into looking after men's health. All right, you got to look after that stuff. All right. So, if you're, and I heard something in the states that there's this exploding diarrhea going around. There's an exploding diarrhea bug.
You know what? I don't know if they'll let me back to the States from Japan. I was actually researching that the other day, because my dad called and told me about it. And I heard about that. And he's saying there's all bacteria in the water. They're shutting down beaches and everything. And I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that wouldn't go down well if it was a case of exploding. You'd have probably emptied the movie theater with that one.
That is true. Oh, weird segue. So the movie theater culture is very different there. No laughing, no crying, silence. Now, for me, I don't support that. You know, these filmmakers spend a lot of money and time to make something to make you laugh, to make you cry.
Yes.
I didn't realize this the first time I went, and I'm also historically the loudest laugher in the movie. I get very emotional in every movie. I cried 3 times during Toy Story 5. I mean, I cry all the time during movies.
Oh, wow.
Get really into it. I'm like Tony Robbins, basically. Shout out to the One Podcast. And I was laughing so loud, and everyone turned over and looked at me. And then one slipped out, and everyone looked at me again. Not
while you were laughing.
Right. Well, I tried to laugh and do at the same time, but I stopped laughing and then it came out. So then I laughed again. No, but I've seen videos where they're like, okay, I'm going to drop my textbooks at the same time to cover the noise. And then there's a delay and the textbooks drop and then it just comes out. No, it was so and they say for the whole credits, not a single person moves from the credits. Which I guess is respectful. And
that's it.
And I really wanted to go see it in Japanese because I thought it'd be cool to see, Buzz the Lightyear, Star Commando. But it didn't happen. I saw it in English, But it was good. That movie, I think it's a little late, but not too late. It definitely is something that has been going on. And have you seen trailers for it or anything?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I heard some of the buzz around a new Toy Story, but I've not seen any trailers or anything.
So for me, as soon as I saw the trailer, my attention was grabbed because of the work that I do, and you'll appreciate this too. I think you would really like it, Steve. The last 2 Toy Stories were all right. I mean, I still cried during them because that's what I do. But this one, the commentary was that everyone is no longer playing with toys. They're just screen slaves to the iPad. And the whole thing is that the Toy Stories where they live now, their home gets invaded by this lily pad. And it was really sad. So spoilers alert, if you tune out if you're listening. The premise wasn't just that the home was invaded by a tablet. The premise was that this kid was creative, had a great imagination, and she struggled to make friends because everyone else just wanted to play on the iPad rather than make believe with her or play outside. And and her parents just give up on her not having any friends. So they buy her an iPad to be connected online. And then she gets invited to a sleepover thinking they're going to all hang out. And they're just all sitting on the couch playing on their iPads virtually. And the iPad is sentient, like the toys are, because it looks like a frog. And it believes that the best way to make this girl friends is to conform her personality to everyone else online. Whereas the toys are like, no, she is unique and she's going to find the right person to be friends with.
Yeah.
And so long story short, the iPad tries to make her friends online. She doesn't fit in with them. They actually end up bullying her, making her cry and depressed. And then the toys manage to find her a friend who is just like her. And the social commentary on online bullying, on screen time, on the death of imagination, on iPads making people grow up too fast. I couldn't believe they threw that in there. They talked about these 9-year-olds or like adults, what they have access to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really emotionally moving. The parents don't know what to do, so they just cave in rather than encourage her. It was sad. I mean, I cried.
Wow.
And then one of the toys had abandonment and trauma issues because they had gotten thrown away by their previous owner.
Yeah.
And major spoiler, they spent their whole lives feeling abandoned, discarded.
For me too.
I won't say anything more.
You said enough. You said enough for me to go look for it. It's out now. I guess it's out general release. Yeah. Okay, then I'll have a look at it.
But as soon as I saw the trailer, what a good concept to say to use that movie, a very famous movie that a lot of kids are attached to really make social commentary that was easily digestible, really eye-opening. And it's nothing that we don't already know, but it really just and it addressed racism more so. Basically, the main character because of the iPad.
You're spoiling it again for me, right?
Okay.
No, you had me at iPad. You know, I remember Steve Jobs never let his kids have an iPad. You know,
when you make something and you know how bad it is, so you don't let your family use it. That says so much in itself.
And Zuckerberg's kids don't have Facebook accounts. Well, I don't know if that. I don't know how true that is.
Your kids don't podcast. I'm just
There you go. I barely podcast. I've still got. Our show is being germinated right now. I did take your rebranding advice. So I've got it. I've got my logo rebranded. I've also changed the platform I'm hosting from. I'm going down the Riverside. Riverside allows you to host from there. And I'm pushing the video out to YouTube. So there's a lot of things around that launch episode. So bear with me and forgive me for the delay on it.
You're paddling up the riverside without a paddle.
And there you go. Yes, I've just got my hands in the water doing this rather than actually taking a proper.
I won a doggy paddle relay as a varsity swimmer once.
Of course you did.
I don't know. Sometimes people don't believe all the things I do. Sometimes I was talking to people at the bar.
I don't believe all the things you do sometimes.
And I don't know why they had it, but I won a free T-shirt from it. They put me on this doggy paddle relay, which I don't know. Someone in charge was like, "This would be funny. Let's make the kids these high schoolers do a doggy paddle relay." Yeah,
there you
but
go.
Steve,
there you go.
We glanced over something really important, which is the fact that you've had a whole week since we last spoke to prepare a Jamaican joke or a British joke or a joke. I guess where's your cohort at? I'm going to give them a call because I don't think they're doing their job. Not holding you accountable.
I guess it's my little bit of am I rebelling by not having a joke?
I think
I'm non-conformist. Thing is I think I laugh at things so quickly that they're not necessarily objectively fun. They're not objectively funny for me to recount the story. Right. So I was out with my mom yesterday. Well, I can't even, it doesn't even make any sense to actually recount the story because I have to explain so much about the culture that the
Right,
joke
like
wouldn't
that road
land,
joke
right?
at one time.
Yeah, like the road joke, right? If you don't know the state of potholes in Jamaica, you understand that there is no left-hand side of the road or right-hand side of the road. There's just the best side, because you're literally waiting for traffic to pass, and you're driving on the same piece of road that traffic was on, because your side is a crater. Right? Jamaicans have a great way of, they can be self-deprecating and they can be insulting at the same time. They can say something, they can call you out for being, not quite all there, and it can sound demeaning. But a lot of the times it's not even said. It's not even said in a way to put someone down, to lift them up, as much as we're all in the same boat, and yeah, like I said, there's terms that don't make any sense. Like, do you know what do you know what a breadfruit is?
A breadfruit?
A breadfruit, yeah. You don't know what a breadfruit is, right? So
Yeah.
so if you don't know what a breadfruit is, you wouldn't know how to eat it. You wouldn't know how it's prepared. So you can boil breadfruit.
Yeah, that's any food.
You can fry breadfruit. You can it tastes like bread. It's a fruit, literally. It's like the size of a coconut. And when it's cooked, the flesh is very kind of bready. It's a starchy kind of. It's funny because you think of fruits being sweet, and this isn't necessarily a sweet thing. You eat it like you'd eat potatoes or plantain, or green bananas. So, but we roast them here, and there's a commentator on the radio show talking to one of his guests, and the guest was going on about something just really stupid, and he's the host said, sorry,
about a 10K.
About it wasn't about 10K, but it could well have been. And then the host says he doesn't know. The host says you're beginning to sound like roast breadfruit, which makes no sense whatsoever. Because what does a roast breadfruit sound like? And that's the kicker right there. That's the punchline. What does a roast breadfruit sound like?
Here, I'll save us. I'll read one of my favorite jokes. Well, it's a joke I've heard a couple of times.
Don't tell me someone walks into a bar.
It is it does start in the bar. I'm trying to find.
You're getting prompted while we're on, are we? Is that what you think?
Well, I want to read it verbatim, but what was it? Because I can't remember the second half of the joke. Oh,
all right.
Oh, I remember now. Okay, I didn't have to look it up.
Yeah.
This guy walks into a bar and he finds. So this guy's in Japan. He walks into a bar and he wants to get a glass of sake, and he sits down next to this guy, and on the bar there's a almost 1 foot tall man playing the piano. This miniature piano.
Yeah.
He says, I've never seen something like that before. And the guy sitting at the bar next to him, he goes, yeah, I got this genie lamp, and this is what happened. And the guy grabs a genie lamp and he runs outside to make a wish. And he comes back in all angry and flustered. He goes, there's $1 million deer running around the streets. I wish for $1 million, and now there's 1 million deer in the streets. This is a broken genie lamp. And the guy turns and says, do you think I wish for a 12-inch pianist?
I've got one, but I don't want to share it here. We have to come offline. Of the similar, there's a similar one.
Is it the Apple one?
No, it's where It's where the guy wishes for his
Appendage.
equipment is appendage to reach the floor, so the genie cuts his legs off. So there you go. So he cuts his legs off. There you go. That's one way to. That's one way to make sure.
News, something make you smile. I was at the bar last night after Toastmasters. They said you're not allowed to give another table talk because you won the best table talk award the last 2 times in a row, and we want someone else to win, and you're just too good at speaking. And some people came up to me and they said, you must be like a paid speaker with stage time the way you give these table talks. And of course,
you don't stop talking. You don't stop talking. So that's, I mean, you come in here and like my algorithm says monologue. I'm like, I did say something.
Well, the table topics I love because there's so much creativity with it. Like the first time I got an award for it, they said, talk about something related to a rainy day. And I talked about the increase in depression and suicide on rainy days, right?
Yes.
Yesterday, we're talking about change. And I had a great answer for every one of them. What was the worst change you ever made in your life? What was the best change? Or what is something you wish you could change right now? Stuff like that. And I gave my own table talk during the guest comment section because I was like, well, I'm on the platform. Might as well say something. And I said, I want everyone to reflect on something. I was listening to a pastor and he quoted another pastor that I'm not going to quote this pastor, quoting a pastor. He said, if I had the power of God, I would change everything. But if I only had the wisdom of God, I would change nothing. And I heard that the other day and my jaw dropped. And I've been reflecting on it for days. That really, for me personally, that really hit me in the heart. And I want to share that with everyone. I mean,
why? It's a profound statement. And we can let's take 2 minutes. Let's take 2 minutes to unpack that because it's if I had the power.
How much less I could have ran on that 10K, Steve. That's a sensitive word right now.
That's exactly. That would have got you. That would have got you to the top 10.
Prom night. 2 minutes.
Wow, I can see that 10K, that 10K dug deep, man. That's got to be part of your skit for sure.
It's running 10K circles around my head right now.
It must be, yes. Your feet must be tired because you've been running around your mind.
No, I have a muscle knot in my right calf, and it's incredibly painful. But
there you go.
And it turns out it wasn't worth a medal.
So if you had the power, you would change everything, and if you had the wisdom, you would change nothing. What's the difference between the power and the wisdom that would make you change or not change?
The ability to change something, but the wisdom. So the way I unpack that quote is I think about Job is one of my favorite books in the Bible. Every young man says they're Job, right? So I understand it's a very popular one, but it genuinely. Really, actually, 1/3 of my book, God versus the Indomitable Human Spirit, is about Job because there is so much in it. Job and Jonah are both parts of the Bible where God asks humanity a question, and in Jonah, he leaves it unanswered. In Job, they have a conversation. And he says, brace yourself like a man, for I shall now ask you all these things. And that, to me, is that line, just brace yourself like a man. Also, my newest Bible sermon, Godzilla, Leviathan, and the Kaiju of the Bible. What does it mean to us today? Check it out. Godzilla's not in the Bible, but I mean, great sermon. Anyway,
Leviathan,
the wisdom, we see that in Job. You know, he talks about how many different things are so aligned. And I think that's what it means is we would change everything if we only had the power, because we wouldn't take into account everything that comes tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and as God has done for centuries. When we only have the ability, we're thinking from a single point of time, which is right now. What do I want to change right now? And our perceived projections of the future, rather than actually knowing what that future is and what those changes make. It's a difference between what we think and what we know. But I've thought about it a lot too. I think about, of course, I've dreamt about? What if I, right now, as Mr. Whiskey, went into my 14-year-old self and I could bring all my wisdom, but then I have to relive everything from then. Number one, I don't want to do that because that's so much extra. That's a burdensome task, right?
Yes.
I mean, in your case, even more so. 14, I don't know how long
even
ago
more
that was for
so.
you.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
210
Don't worry
years.
Don't worry about the math.
But I think being an author is what brought me closer to God, because people reading, if I had someone peer review a book for me, it would say, Mr. Whiskey, I really don't understand why you did this to this character in chapter 3. Well, I know chapter 12. I know exactly why I did it. And we don't have that knowledge that God has.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And it's a good, that's a good point. But I guess if you have power is, you could argue that power is only realized when it's executed. You don't know how powerful you are until you exercise that power. It's latent, right? If I know,
wisdom's not required for power.
Right, and that's the difference.
Someone who's never shot a gun before could take my life right now with a gun.
Yes.
Right?
With no wisdom. Yeah. They have the power to execute, but they don't have the wisdom in terms of understanding why and when, how.
But they would fail because I have chopsticks here, and I would just
catch the bullet in the chopstick.
Yes.
Because you're like, airbenders and all that stuff. But no, that's it. That is interesting. Yeah, wisdom brings perspective. Wisdom carries with it perspective. I like Job as well as a book.
But unenacted wisdom is useless. And I'll compound this with King Solomon it is written, there shall be none ever like you before, none now, and no one shall ever be like you in the future. King Solomon is the wisest person to have ever existed or will ever exist aside of Yeshua, aka Jesus Christ. But he still failed ultimately in life. How? Because he stopped using the wisdom for the right reasons. He became corrupted by paganism and idolatry. And so wisdom can be useless. He had all the wisdom and all the power, and he used it in the wrong thing. His heart was led astray from the Lord by multiple wives, written in Deuteronomy 17:17. A king shall not have for himself many wives, lest they lead his heart astray from the Lord, nor shall he hoard up for himself many horses, Deuteronomy 16-18, nor treasures, right? His income, you know what the number of his income was? 666 per month, if you break it down, right?
Okay.
It's pure cash income. So I say all this to say, wisdom can be useless if it's not God aligned or God directed, right? I mean,
you get
PPE coming out. Come on, Pastor.
There is what was I going to say around wisdom. Wisdom is useless. You said wisdom is useless if it's not exercised, or power is useless if it's not exercised.
Wisdom that is not enacted is useless in the sense that, especially, you can have wisdom and still be a bystander. You can have wisdom and still not utilize it. I don't think wisdom doesn't automatically make you act out on that wisdom in a way that is proper or aligned. Or you could have but if you have a counter argument, I'm open to it.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even a counter. I guess it's a little bit of a counter, but it's like, it's knowledge. Knowledge isn't power; it's potential power. Knowing something, similar like wisdom, unshared, unexpressed wisdom is potentially powerful, but by virtue of you not sharing that wisdom, no one benefits from it. So in that respect, there has to be a sense of there has to be a sense of alignment of the ability to act, the ability to enact what you know. And I think that's sometimes we get caught up. I know I get caught up in this. I want to learn lots of things, but I can't act out everything that I learn. So there might be a point at which I focus on what can I do? What am I capable of doing? And then learn to grow that capability, rather than just learn something and then never be able to enact it.
Is the intake of wisdom you're receiving greater than your capacity to use it?
Yes, yeah, and then where does that go? Sometimes wisdom is required for perspective. Knowing, like you just said, if I'm powerful without perspective, I will act in the moment. I've got power to change to this moment, so I'll change it, and I've got power to change the next moment, and I'll change that. But if I have no perspective on what that means, doing something today that's going to ruin my life in 10 years, that's perspective. Right. And if I don't have...
And that ties into an upcoming sermon of mine for my solo scripture samurai arc, Tambo art. What does it teach us about God's perspective? Tambo art is a practice I discovered here in Japan where they turn the rice fields into artwork by planting different colored crops. And from your level as the planter, you're like, why am I doing this if you don't see the full image? Why am I planting these different... But then in an airplane view, or from God's perspective, wow, look at this. I would have never known.
How do you spell Tambo?
Tambo. Steve, when you see it, your jaw will drop. I can't believe it's rice.
That's a great line in itself. I can't believe it's rice. Tambo. Tambo.
Is it Tampo? Well, I'm going to embarrass myself here. I think it's Tambo. Tambo. Tambo art.
Rice art. Tambo rice art. Okay, I'm just...
the level of detail.
Oh, wow. Rice paddy art. Oh, my goodness.
I don't even know how they...
I love that.
Like, I was reading about the history of how it started. Obviously, where it is now is way more complicated than where it started. But how do you... This started before AI, right? So how do you even think... How do you plot it out? I guess you would take a graph of your field and sketch it out, and then follow that graph plot by plot. But that's not something that I have the wisdom to do.
Your fiance is an artist. My daughter's an artist, and I use that description explicitly because they both have training and experience in their mediums of creating art. They're not just creatively minded. They are, I would give my daughter and Camille that title of being artists. And they work with medium, they work with imagination. I mean,
they're both open for commissions. Check the description and links below.
They're both open for commissions. That's true. Yes, yeah. My daughter recently did a commission, which was a really nice piece of work. They exercise their wisdom and their power through the mediums that they choose, whether it's acrylic, oil, graphite pen, etching, whatever, collage, mosaic. And this is another form of that in this Tambo art. On a scale that's more than a mural, right? It's one thing painting a wall. To paint a field with a living medium speaks a lot. It speaks a lot to all the people that are involved. Yeah. It speaks a lot to the process. It speaks a lot to the endurance of not seeing your creation come to life until the things grow. I mean, that would do my head in. It's one thing watching paint dry and changing color as it dries, or you putting layers on top of, different colors. You layer in your medium, but to actually put something in the ground and it depends on everything else around it growing, I'm gonna have to look at that up. That's definitely.
I was researching it, and my mind was just blown because I've seen when I passed through Virginia, I saw, I think it was Liberty University had on the mountainside their logo, and I assume it was from rocks or something. But this is a whole nother level, like you mentioned, and it's just. It also speaks to patience for sure, like you're saying. And yeah, you should definitely read the history. I was reading a little bit about how it started and stuff, and obviously. What was one person's thing became a competition, or like, and not even in like a competitive way, but just like, oh wow, look what they're doing, let me do it with my rice field. And then each year it gets more advanced and stuff. And but one thing we didn't mention about wisdom, I gotta make a comment on murals. Well, I'll do the murals. So Camille, she's never painted a mural before. And she was hand selected out of like 90 or more people who applied to do this live mural painting. She was one of 25 people among very well-established, famous graffiti artists to do this. And she just finished that this weekend. And I surprised her with because I couldn't be there to record and support. I actually bought a professional photographer for the event to do special reels, videos, and pictures, high quality. And I'm excited to post those soon so you can see what I'm talking about. But with both her and I recently, it's been a lot of just like, one thing is like, you won't get the opportunities you don't pursue, right? I mean, in her case, worst case scenario, she got told no. The bar owner could have told me no. But now I have a private comedy show that I'll be hosting with her. All because I wasn't afraid of the embarrassment or rejection of a no, right? I mean, sometimes there's bigger consequences than that, but I think you should pursue it. And I think like there was a gentleman that I offered to open for the 5-minute spot because he said he wanted to pursue comedy, and he declined because he'd rather be at the beach that day. And for me, if you really want to pursue something, your priorities will show that. For example, when I was qualifying in the naval nuclear pipeline, I got an officer aside to give us a special training, and my peers said, nah, I'd rather go eat this burrito for breakfast and not work this early in the shift. And they turned it down, and I was the only one who went by myself. At the time I said, what a jerk going by myself first thing in the morning. I could be eating lunch, but my priority was to get training. We could always eat or go to the beach or do something later. Don't neglect your health, but if you're trying to passionately pursue something, you can make any excuse in the world to not do it. But you have every reason to do it. So
that's definitely a key thing. What's important, or what you prioritize will show up in the way you live. Whether you prioritize something that's beneficial or something that's detrimental, it's going to show up because that's what you've said as an priority.
Than the things you do.
Say that again.
Or sometimes it'll show up more in the things that you don't do than the things that you actually do.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, either one. I mean, but I think James Clear says that the actions that we take are a vote. They're a vote for ourselves. So if you don't take that action, that's a vote for yourself. If you do take an action, that's a vote for yourself. And that's what we do. So it's sometimes not that straightforward because there may be factors. You running an extra lap is just a factor of the race. We won't hold that one against you because you didn't want to run an extra lap to mess up your time.
It only made me more powerful.
Just coming full
it only proved that I was a
what doesn't kill you.
And all I can say, as I said in that video, not to brag, but I said I also know that in running that extra lap, or even just doing the 10K, I did more than most people do in a month or sometimes months. And I try to remember that too, because you shouldn't accept everything in your life or be proud of all the things you do in your life by comparison to people who are doing less. You should hold yourself to this high standard that you want to achieve. But for me, struggling with stuff like body dysmorphia or perfectionism or overly high standards or just seeing no value in anything that I do, sometimes that comparison is it's a balance bringer. You know, it's not the source of what I'm feeling, but sometimes it's a good refresh call, because when you only chase after this very fictional, dramatized high standard, which is good, and you lose sight of reality, it could be a good like wake up call. So, and that's something I had to do a lot, because like I still feel like, you know, 90 pounds, and but the scale says otherwise, the looking in the mirror says otherwise, and I have to sometimes go back to where I was, because I'm so focused on where I want to be, and I forget where I was to where I am now, to see that projection and growth.
I'm going to drop. That's a summary of that's a summary cliff notes of a book called The Gap in the Gain. Benjamin Hardy, and sometimes we focus so much on the gain that we want, we forget. Or no, we focus so much on the gap between where we are and where we want to go, that we forget about the gain that we've achieved from where we started to where we are now. And both of those are good
he
drivers for. Yeah, he probably did.
Speaking of Coach Wright,
he wrote it before you were.
Did you start your book?
He wrote it before you were alive. But
did you start writing your book?
I've not started my book yet. I've not started writing my book. I still do video. I still do sort of video vlog entries. But Annie Cook, help me. I need Annie to. Well, I don't need Annie. Well, I would like to have Annie in my corner for guidance.
I can't help you.
For guidance. I mean, you could. I mean, you're definitely. I've got authors in my corner.
No, I haven't been featured in 7 books this year.
I'll start journaling.
I just posted that on my website for fun. I haven't actually been featured in 7 books this year. So
you haven't?
No, I haven't.
You have?
I couldn't help you if I would have known nothing. All I know is I'm gonna title your book "The Right Mindset." WRIGHT. The Right Mindset.
The Right Mindset. Oh, that's an interesting title.
Well, I thought of it earlier when you talked about that other book, like The Right Way to Do Wrong or something, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I was gonna just plug your name and say you should rewrite it, rebrand it, but
yeah.
I'm picturing you in a hammock, you know, in Jamaica, you know, just working on this manuscript, barefoot, you know.
No, I am barefoot. I am barefoot, which is nice. But yeah, there's that stereotypical perception of the Caribbean being all coconuts, and actually I do all being coconut water, you know, drinking water straight from the coconut.
Roasted breadfruit all the time.
Breadfruit.
Oh, breadfruit. Oh, it's breadfruit. I thought it was breadfruit. That's the British accent. My bad.
No, breadfruit. Yeah, breadfruit. So, but yeah, there's an element of that, and it's I love the green. I love the sun, and I'm working with the people. You know, so it's definitely. It's quite a shift culturally, but in a way that is actually comes back to meshing wisdom with power, understanding how much power you have, agency to make things happen, and how much wisdom you have in terms of understanding what you can change and what you can't change. Because there's no point me being powerful without wisdom. And it's no point me being wise without the power to enact wisdom.
The best of both worlds, according to Ecclesiastes, is don't have any wisdom at all. It's a curse. It's terrible to know all these things. You can't argue with stupid people who think they're right. And the real bliss is in ignorance. So That's kind of the summary. There's a few lines in there kind of like that. I mean,
the conclusion of the matter. Yeah, the conclusion of the matter.
Right. Is that you know what?
The conclusion. And on that note, I'm going to conclude this matter.
Okay.
That was a segue to the end. I do wish I had a joke that was kind of close to hand. That was
well, if it makes you feel better,
witty.
Someone commented on a YouTube short of you and I making Jamaican jokes, like LOL with a laugh emoji face. So, I mean, I don't know if they were laughing at you or with you. That's
they were. I'll take either one. I'll take either one of them. Right now, it's like that's fine. I'm okay with that. But definitely let us know. I'd love to have a little. Yeah, yeah. If you have anything funny any jokes, LinkedIn, any social media platform can benefit from some level. So, something that is, I'd love to have a Jamaican.
Maybe I should make the comedy show poster an anime.
A Jamaican audience. I mean, is the audience going to be Japanese?
It's going to be English speakers primarily because I'm performing
an animation of you
and Japanese. Yes. Oh, now you're lagging, Steve.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, anyway, I'm just going to answer the question as I heard it. Yes, a Jamaican version, an anime version of me. And, I think we'll see. Yeah, something like that, or maybe I'll do the classic, like the art style of Musashi Miyamoto. Miyamoto Musashi. I always get it backwards, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe people will buy me free whiskey at the event. That'll be the best part. You're supposed to buy your comedian a drink. I think I see people do that for musicians, but it's usually men buying women drinks at the guitar because they're hoping to get some. I doubt there's going to be anyone buying me drinks, unless they'll say, "Here, maybe if we buy him enough drinks, he'll actually get funny." Oh, you're completely frozen.
You go. But yeah, we got to sit there.